Dead No More, Patient Zero, Chapter 20. Doc shares a secret. I'm pregnant, we said simultaneously. The exclamations just hung there in the air as I stared at her and her at me. In my excitement, I reached out to hug her and ended up bruising her arm. That's when I noticed it. The bruise healed almost instantaneously, and then it hit me. The placenta. This baby was conceived before the mutation had matured, and evidently has passed on some of the properties to M. You and this wonderful bundle of joy may have just saved everyone's life, I said as I gently placed my hand on her belly. Eli, get in here. Eli ran into the lab and greeted my excitement with confusion. What's going on? He asked. What's with all the excitement? We're having a baby, I shouted. Eli's expression went from that of puzzlement to one of dour depression. Doc, you know that's not possible now, he warned. No, Eli, she's already pregnant. Post-cure. Pre-mutation. The placenta, Eli. Think about the placenta, I yelled. Eli looked a little puzzled as he went through the motions of figuring out that post-cure and pre-mutation meant that the cells graft onto M's and the babies, causing an entirely new mutation, and that the placenta would hold properties that were an amalgam of our two systems, her completely human and my pre-mutation, with the potential to mutate. Eli's eyes lit up as he began to realize what this meant. A cure was now possible. The gestation that M will go through should filter the cells through sterile antibodies that will allow us to extract not only stem cells, but to use the placenta to kill the mutation that started the outbreak. I get it, Doc. This is fantastic news on so many levels, he said. Would someone mind explaining this to me in layman's terms? Queried M. How does the child's placenta filter the antibodies that react to other cells as invasive organisms? I looked at Eli and then at M, and I picked her up and hugged her gently. It's already working its way through her system and creating a benevolent mutation, I shouted. Wow, did that just come out of my mouth? Uttered M. M, what did you do on April 8th, 2004 at 10 a.m. in the morning? Asked Eli. Why? It was a Thursday, and I met a teacher in Birmingham for a self-defense session. I remember, as there were these attacks in the area, in conjunction with some bank robberies, she said. Mental acuity and physiology are both affected by the mutation, I added. Are you telling me that the deposit of your genetic material in me is making me like you? She asked in amazement. I'm a receptive host via the amniotic fluid of the fetus, thereby allowing me to receive a benevolent mutation? Well, the conjoining of our materials is allowing the baby to affect your genetic makeup to ensure its survival, it seems, I explained. Both your physical and mental capacities will likely increase, but to what levels is unknown at this juncture. Is it possible that I will become like you? She asked. What are your thoughts on the matter? I asked. Well, if the baby is filtering nutrients through me, it stands to reason that its mutated cells will filter through me as well, also causing a benevolent mutation in me, she stated. Give that woman a PhD, joked Eli. Honey, time is of the essence, I said. We need to get some blood and stem cell samples from you and the baby. Judging by your ability to heal and the speed at which it occurs, we don't have that big of a window to gather what is needed. Eli and I went to work immediately to gathering the genetic samples needed. It looked like no matter how much we took from the fetus, it regenerated and replenished the materials and fluids almost instantaneously. M was a trooper throughout the entire process. She now had the mental capacity to understand the biomedical and physiological aspects of the procedures we were conducting. Although the placenta rapidly regenerated, We didn't want to harvest too much, too soon, for fear of harming the baby. Eli, Em, and I worked quickly and quietly. We were able to create 50 doses of the serum before the baby's healing factor made harvesting impossible. We kept the work we conducted secret, on the outside chance that it did not work. As the days became weeks, we had very few incidents to disturb our communities. We decided to split the serum in the following nature: 5 doses for Eli, Tank, Em, and myself, and the remainder to be utilized by the council. Em and I pooled our doses, as did Eli and Tank. Em was beginning to show, but we had yet to inform the general populace or even our own family with what her pregnancy meant. Joshua, however, was smarter than we had given him credit. "Dad, you and Em are my parents in every way that matters," said Joshua. "I can only guess as to the reason that you are keeping me in the dark as to what is going on with the baby." "What do you mean, Joshua?" asked Em as she shot me a look. "Well, others may not have noticed due to the pregnancy, but I have," Joshua stated. "You're a full 6 inches taller, Em, in addition to the weight gain. And we both know that isn't just baby weight. Your musculature and density have increased significantly. You're mutating." "Damn! And this is without any mutations of his own," I whispered to Em proudly. "We have to tell him, Marv," she stated. "We have to tell everyone." We told Joshua everything as he listened intently to our medical miracle tale. Again, hubris was beginning to avail itself, when a notion occurred to Joshua. "Dad, what if everyone doesn't want the cure?" he asked. I had just assumed that everyone would want to be cured, regardless of the effects that came with it. "This is only one of the myriad of reasons that I love you, son," I said. "You keep me grounded. I never even considered that someone would not want the cure. But to be honest, when I was first faced with immortality alone, I wasn't too happy with the prospect myself." I immediately called a meeting of the council and attempted to explain in what I now considered layman's terms, but sounded like a thesis on physiology and biochemical mechanics. Eli was on hand to help translate. The council sat there in stunned silence. "We have in totality a congruent set of 30 dosages to be distributed by the council," I said. "As this set is limited to a number that is not congruent to the subset in totality of those who might wish to partake, you might want to engage in chance as a determining factor with distribution." They all looked to Eli. "Hold a lottery to determine who gets a dose," said Eli. There was muttering amongst the council members, and then Andre stood up. "So what you're saying, Marv, is that this serum will prevent us from changing into DCs when we die, even if we are bit?" "In a word, affirmative," I responded. I looked at T and then at M. "I have something I need to get off of my chest," I said. "Bro, if this is what I think it is, know that you have my unwavering support," said T. "I've known this for a while now, but I did not know how to broach the subject with any of you," I said. "I am the reason for the outbreak. My serum, focused on protoenzymes proteins, caused the first DC to rise. As I retold my tale to them, about my stepdad, about Emily and the interns, I could see the anguish on their faces. I could feel the hurt, the betrayal, and the disappointment. As I concluded my soliloquy, I then made a bold statement. I understand how some of you might feel, and while I do not wish to diminish what that is, no one could comprehend the disgust and disappointment that I feel in myself. To know that I am responsible for the fall of mankind is truly a heavy burden to bear. And with that being said, I throw myself on the mercy of this council. I will abide by whatever punishment you deem necessary." Again, there was murmuring, but this time with more anger, disgust, and cursing. "Marv, this isn't something that we can just consider on the spur of the moment," said Gerald. "You are probably one of the best friends I have left on the planet, but that is probably due to your mistake. If I had to be honest, right now, I'm pissed," said Leon. "We're in this mess because of you, and the only way out of it is through you. I love you, man, but this is a bit much. I've lost my hand. I almost lost my life. All because of you," screamed Fred. "I'll kill you." Fred lunged at me with his stump, equipped with a spear tip. The spear pressed against my flesh, but could not penetrate it. Again and again, Fred struck me as everyone looked on in amazement. "What the hell are you?" asked Fred. I began to explain about my mutations and what they meant, what they did, and how they changed me. "So, in addition to being cured, we'd become like what you are now, hyper-intelligent, incredibly strong, and long-lived?" asked Andre. "Not quite," I corrected. "For all intents and purposes, I am immortal. I cannot die. This is a nanotip scalpel. It cuts on a molecular level. I sliced my arm, and it immediately healed before one drop of blood oozed forth." "That's amazing," shouted Fred. "Will it grow my hand back?" I opened my shirt and showed him the scar where the bullet embedded itself in my chest. "Unfortunately, no. It will only heal wounds that occur after the mutations," I stated. "I'm sorry, Fred. I know I'm the newest member to this council. I know a lot of you feel a certain way about Doc right now, but he was there when me and my family needed him most," said Rodriguez. "He has done nothing but be kind to me and mine. Sure, he has made a huge mistake, but it wasn't malicious. He's doing everything he can to rectify it, and he has had loss as well. Any punishment you deem necessary for Marv, include me as well. I've known since the beginning how this mess started," said T. "He was trying to help people. Isn't that what a doctor is supposed to do? But I guess the old adage is true. No good deed goes unpunished." "Of course, you knew," said Andre. "What about Emilia and the kid? Did they know too?" "Look, I think we need to think about this thing," said an unusually vocal Ernesti. "Man's inhumanity to man is a cause of a lot of our suffering." Marvin offered a bright oasis in an otherwise dismal world. "I know a lot of people have died, but I can't lay all the blame at the doctor's feet," said Jason. "Sure, the mistake is his, but he has done nothing but try to atone for the mistake." "The world is screwed because of you," screamed Diane. "My life is over, and it's all your fault." Andre looked at Diane as he slumped in his chair with a look of disappointment on his face. I think Diane's words hurt him more than they did me. He truly loved her, but was beginning to realize that the affection might be one-sided. "Before you pass sentence on Marv, know that he didn't have to tell you about the serum, nor that he was responsible for the outbreak. He never had to take any of you in to build this community or start this council. He did everything he did only trying to help," said M. "If I may," said a voice from the doorway of the council room. It was Jamie. She and Joshua were listening to the entire meeting. "I understand the feelings of loss and betrayal, probably better than most. Because while most of you feel that your lives were irrevocably changed, I feel that my future has been stolen," she said. Her words tore at my heart like jagged glass. However, you all are viewing this like it is the final chapter. We still need a leader who is smart and strong and compassionate amongst other things. Who here fits that bill better than the doc? Hasn't he kept us housed, fed, safe, and alive? Hasn't he ensured our training in all things survival? Who here can say that they have not made mistakes? Who here would stand up to shoulder the burden that he has carried since this all began? I know I have no place to speak here, but I'm going to anyway, began Joshua. The doc, my dad, has interacted with each and every one of you. He has shared laughter, tears, and hope with us all. He has risked himself for us on numerous occasions. I'm not saying that his mistake wasn't a huge one, but we all know what's in his heart, whether we choose to admit it or not. Well, Doc, do you have anything to say for yourself? Queried Leon. The floor is yours. I scanned the room and saw some sympathetic faces, and some not so much. I understood each hurt feeling and each disappointed scowl. They were justified in their anger. My ma used to say, "Don't do anything you're not willing to take responsibility for," when I was younger. I now truly understand what that means. All I've ever wanted to do, since I was a juvenile, was medically assist mankind to correct the molecular and cellular deficiencies in our organisms, to heal and make whole the degenerative mitosis and make a more efficient mitochondria. What the fuck did he just say? Asked Gerald, as everyone looked to Eli for translation. Since he was a kid, all he's wanted to do was help people, explained Eli. Well, at this moment, we'll ask all those who are not members of the council to excuse us while we discuss this new information and make a decision on how to proceed, said Leon. Based on relationships, we'll also ask T, Doc, M, and Joshua to abstain from the discussion. Unbeknownst to everyone present, save Eli and M, my auditory capacity was such that I could hear everything they said. I could smell the sweat that escaped from their pores, as some argued for and some against me. I understood the debate from both sides, and had no basis to pass judgment for their feelings on the matter. I noticed that M, because of her expressions, could hear them as well. She was not pleased with what she heard. I held her hand as I steadied her, and for that brief moment, all I could hear was the heartbeat of our child as it continued to grow inside of M. M, regardless of what happens, I want you to know that I love you, I said as I looked into her beautiful eyes. The door opened, and Rodriguez walked out. We've reached a decision, he said.